Madness. It made no sense at all. I desperately needed the facts.
As I've explained in earlier videos, to understand any generation, you need to start by understanding its location in history. Gen Xers first arrived as small children in the early 1960s, when increasingly indulgent parenting styles became totally hands-off. The philosophy was, give them a latchkey guide, a self-care guide, or a Judy Blume book, so then they can go off navigating life's dangers on their own. Institutions that once protected kids no longer seem to work in the 60s and 70s. Schools are breaking down and the divorce rate soared, and that's not all. Starting in the early 1960s, adults didn't want to have kids anymore. Fertility rates plummeted, hitting an all-time low in 1976, making this known as a baby bust generation. A climate of unfriendliness to kids seemed to permeate the popular culture. This was the era of the child devil horror movie, when a demonic and hostile image of children became a best-selling movie genre. This era coincided almost exactly with the early childhood of Generation X, starting in the early 1960s and stopping abruptly in the early 1980s. Xers learned young that they couldn't trust older people and institutions to look out for their best interests, that they needed to be resilient survivors who could trust their own instincts. And that's exactly what they became. While boomers have always focused on their inner lives, Gen Xers tend to focus on bottom-line outcomes. For the last several decades, the UCLA College Freshman Survey has been asking students what life goals they consider important. Through the early 1970s, when boomers were the college freshmen, the vast majority said, developing a meaningful philosophy in life. Many fewer said, being very well off financially. When Xers entered college in the late 1970s, those priorities reversed. What should boomers know about their Xer coworkers? And what should millennials know about the Xers who are so often their direct supervisors? Well, Xers like to be free agents. They tend not to trust their employer to look out for their long-term interests. Boomers should know that Xers have high rates of job mobility, often opt out of paternalistic benefits packages, embrace choice, and prefer total rewards incentive plans. They are also deeply entrepreneurial. Xers can be loyal to their employer, but most will never stop scoping out the options. 3 out of 5 say they would someday want to be their own boss, and the vast majority of startups today are founded by Xers. Millennials should know that their Xer managers may not naturally understand their desire for guidance, mentorship, and long-term career planning. Xers also believe that work is a means to an end, not an end in itself. When boomers talk about work, they tend to use lofty and holistic words about their career, their profession, their vocation, even their calling. Xers talk instead about their job, their assignment, their gig. Boomers think work is your life. Xers think it's how you get a life. Boomers are into depth, doing any given task fully and perfectly. Xers are into breadth, developing a wide range of skills so they can flexibly switch tasks as needed. Remember, boomers, to Xers, higher productivity means doing more for less, not doing everything better. Xers champion the market ethic, not the work ethic. The point is not to work harder, but to work smarter and get the job done more efficiently so everybody gets to go home. This can be a real strength. Workaholics rarely make productivity breakthroughs. But it also means Xers hate measures of performance that aren't related to output. According to Xers, what counts is their performance itself, not their attitude. Best Buy recently instituted a management directive, one that is especially popular with Xers there, called ROWE, Results Only Work Environment. According to Rowe, teams are only judged by what they accomplish, not how much time they put into a task. Xers are also relatively disinterested in corporate culture and mission, and they like flat organizations where anyone can shine. Millennials should know that the structure and hierarchy that they may really like about a big organization may be something that their Xer managers really don't care much for. Xers are poised to take over most top leadership positions from boomers over the next decade. Their market-oriented style will remain an important force in America's workplace.